Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Domain.com. Today on Variant, I count down the 10 best Batsuits from comic books. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I love the new Star Wars teaser trailer. I'm your host, Arris. Now, as some of you may or may not have noticed, I am wearing the first official Variant t-shirt we call the villain lineup for obvious reasons, which is just silhouettes of some of my favorite villains on a police lineup, which I personally think is hilarious and awesome all at the same time. So if you want to represent the show or just want a cool t-shirt with some comic book villains on it, head over to triunestore.com to purchase one for yourself, which I put the link for in the description below. Also, the shirt itself is extremely comfortable, and I'm not just saying that, it's like shockingly comfortable. What is this, like 200% cotton? As for today's episode, a few weeks back I did a countdown of my 10 favorite Spider-Man costumes, and ever since then, a lot of you guys have been requesting I do a 10 best Batsuits and 10 best Iron Man armors episode. So since I love taking your guys' requests, because after all, I do the show for you guys, today I chose to take one of your suggestions and talk about the 10 best Batsuits. Before I get into my list, I just want to say I am not counting the movie Batsuits. So the Tim Burton Batsuit, the Bale Batsuit, and even Ben Affleck's Batsuit does not count on this list. I wanted to keep this list strictly to the comic books, with some gray areas here and there, but I'll explain that later. With that said, and kicking off my list at number 10 is the first appearance Bob Kane Batsuit. Now, I personally feel this suit deserves to be on this list because it's what started it all for Batman, but even besides it being the first, I still just like the costume. Now, that might just mainly be because of nostalgia, but I will say all the modern retakes on the costume are awesome. Like Jim Lee's take on the Kane Batsuit, which we see on one of the variant covers for Detective Comics issue 27 of the New 52. And then of course, most notably, at least for me, is Greg Capullo's reimagining of the first appearance Batsuit. He kept the pink and or purple gloves along with other little details here and there. It was just a perfect mixture of nostalgia and modern. At number 9, which people who read Batman in the 90s will all remember very well, is Nightfall Batman. After Batman had his back broken by Bane, he had Jean-Paul Valley take up the role of Batman in his absence. And of course, he had his own version of the Batsuit, which I've been a fan of ever since the first time I saw it on a cover way back when. Now, I know some people may say this costume is very 90s and outdated, but I still love it. I just like how it's not so much a Batsuit as it is bat armor. I was just always a fan of the cowl covering his whole face and the claws/talons on his fingers. I thought it was just a very nice, brutal touch. The cape design was also epic. All in all, this costume is personally a classic for me. At number 8 is Flashpoint Batman. Now, Flashpoint Batman isn't Bruce Wayne, it's actually Bruce's dad, Thomas Wayne. He becomes Batman instead of Bruce due to the Reverse Flash screwing up the timelines, which changes it to Bruce being gunned down in Crime Alley instead of his parents, which leads to Thomas Wayne becoming Batman, but unlike Bruce, Thomas has no problem killing. And I gotta say, you especially don't want to mess with a Batman who has no problem killing people. Thomas Wayne is also the current Batman of Earth 2, but that's a completely different costume and storyline. Focusing on the Flashpoint costume, however, people who've watched my 10 best Spider-Man costumes episode know I'm a sucker for black and red color schemes, and that's exactly what this costume is. I think the red and black mixed with the dark gray makes this costume look so intimidating. I love the red utility belt, the points on the shoulders of the cape, and of course, his red eyes instead of the classic white. I just overall really dig the design of this costume. Coming in at number 7 is Bruce Wayne Earth 2 Batman. Now, I know I just said in my number 8 pick that Thomas Wayne was the Batman of Earth 2, which is 100% true, but he only took up the Batman mantle after Earth 2 Bruce died trying to save the world. As for the Bruce Wayne Earth 2 Batsuit, I think it's one of the most well-done reimaginings of the Batsuit yet. The way the black and gray patterns of the suit are laid out is very different, and a good change of pace in my opinion. The shoulder straps that come over his shoulders and on the bat symbol look great. Not to mention, he has some pretty bamf gauntlets that look like something a knight would wear. No pun intended. My favorite aspect of the costume though is by far his yellow leg holsters for his freaking Eskrema-like sticks. It was a fantastic idea to take a weapon Nightwing is most known for and give it to an alternate version of Batman. It was just an awesome nod to Batman's first sidekick. Next on my list of awesome Batsuits is the Batman Incorporated Batsuit. This Batsuit is basically just a modern update of the classic Batsuit with the yellow oval bat symbol, and I must say, it's definitely my favorite Batsuit that uses the yellow oval symbol. The gray piping on the suit looks awesome and just adds a realistic texture and feel to it. They also got rid of the underwear on the outside of his pants, and as much as I like the underwear on the outside of his pants for nostalgic reasons, it makes more sense not to have them. Plus, it definitely looks better without them. The utility belt is great, just subtle changes to it, but I liked it. I also like how the bat symbol lights up or glows yellow. Can you imagine being a criminal in a dark alley and just seeing a yellow bat symbol just floating there? That's like crap your pants time. Making its way to number 5 is the Arkham games Batsuit. Now, remember earlier when I said there would be gray areas on this list? Well, this is one of those gray areas, because this technically is a Batsuit from a video game, but on the flip side of that, it's still technically a comic book Batsuit, because the Arkham games did end up getting their own comic book series, which allows me to mention it on this list. See? Life is all about technicalities, people. But yes, this Batsuit, both in the video game and in the comics, is one Bamf Batsuit. I just like how the costume looks like brute force, especially with the huge fat gauntlets, which just by looking at them, you can tell they're made to beat the crap out of people as well as deflect all sorts of attacks. Now, I know his Batsuit has changed throughout the Arkham series, but I'm talking about all of them as a whole, especially his Batman Arkham Origins Batsuit. That costume is just all around amazing. And yes, the Arkham Origins Batsuit did appear in the comics, so that still qualifies for this list. Again, it's all about technicalities, people. At number 4 is the Batman Beyond Batsuit. Now, I still remember being a kid seeing the suit for the first time on Kids WB during the premiere episode of the Batman Beyond cartoon series and being like, oh my god, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And on top of that, he has rocket-powered boots and red wings that now allow him to fly. This costume is the perfect example of simple yet effective. It's just an all-black Batsuit that even covers his mouth, which I love, and then just a silver utility belt and big red bat symbol on his chest. That's it, minus the occasional addition of wings whenever he flies, but that just makes this suit even cooler. I really like the long ears on his cowl. I normally prefer short ears, but I think it looks great with this costume. And on top of the suit looking downright amazing, it also grants him with a crap ton of powers and abilities, like increased strength, camouflage, flight, and so on. Also, Terry McGinnis and the whole Batman Beyond concept is just brilliant, so there's that. Coming in third is the classic black and gray or black and blue Batsuit with the huge black bat symbol on it. Whenever someone thinks of Batman from the comics, this is most likely the way you envision him. That, or the classic Neil Adams type Batman with the yellow bat oval on his chest. I do prefer the black and gray color scheme more, but the dark blue and gray closely follows for me, especially the way Jim Lee drew Batman in the Batman Hush storyline. It's by far one of my favorite looks / designs for Batman ever, which is no surprise because Jim Lee was the artist for that story, and he's a freaking beast. Putting it plain and simple, this design for Batman is super iconic, a classic, and a fan favorite all wrapped up in one. I mean, its design is used for some of the best Batman storylines of all time, like The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Hush, Batman Year One, Batman The Long Halloween, and the list goes on. Just missing the number 1 slot is the Batman the Animated Series Batsuit. Yes, I know this was a cartoon first and foremost, but there is also a gray area here because this cartoon series also got a comic book titled The Batman Adventures, which allows me to put it on this list, so that's what I'm doing. Now, any true Batman fan will tell you that one of the best things to ever come out of the world of Batman, whether that be comics, movies, cartoons, video games, whatever, is hands down Batman the Animated Series. I mean, it was pretty much a flawless series and did the character so much justice. Not only was the storytelling fantastic for the show, but so was the designs for the characters, especially Batman. It just screams classic and nostalgia. It was a perfect design. Even the redesign for Batman in the new Batman Adventures was great, if not better. So thank you Bruce Timm, Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, and everyone involved with the cartoon and comics. Thank you so much. And coming in at number 1 is the new 52 Batsuit. Now you may be asking, why is this your number 1 favorite? Well, that's simply because I feel like it takes all the best aspects of the Batsuit over the years and combines them all into one. It has that cool armored plating and piping look that I'm a fan of, and they got rid of the underwear, which I have nothing against the underwear. As you can see, some of my favorite Batsuits have the underwear, but I personally think the suit looks way more BA without it. The line work on the costume also makes it look less like spandex and more like armor, which I really like. Different artists will change little things here and there for their own interpretation, but the overall look of the Batsuit stays consistent across the board. Although I will say Jim Lee and Greg Capullo's rendition are definitely my favorites. In summary, the new 52 Batsuit is just a modern take on the classic black and gray Batsuit. That was my number 3 pick, and I couldn't be happier with it. But now I want to know what your favorite Batsuits are, since there are a ton to choose from. So I'm sure you guys have different lists, so list them in the comment section down below. When you buy a domain name from domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and easy to use. The guys at domain.com gave Variants an awesome offer. Get 15% off domain.com's already affordable domain names and web hosting when you use the coupon code Variants at checkout. So when you think domain names, think domain.com. First up for December 10th, we have Thor Issue 3. Lifting the enchanted hammer Mjolnir has transformed a mysterious woman into an all-new version of the mighty Thor. But what happens when she's separated from the hammer? Here we have new Suicide Squad issue 5. A superpowered arms race could mean the end of the world, so the squad is sent to China to stop the creation of a militarized Justice League. Now we have the Justice League United issue 7. The JLU continues to fight the legion of superheroes over the fate of an innocent alien who may grow up to destroy the 31st century. And finally, we have Harley Quinn Holiday Special Issue 1. This is a special issue that collects a bunch of short stories featuring Harley and her special brand of holiday cheer. And that will do it for another episode of Variant, but remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones, but I will see your lovely faces next week when I talk about all things comics.
Harris, my favorite Batman suit would probably be the Batman Beyond suit. I like the way the new DC 52 makes it look. Plus, I like the abilities, like the strength, the camouflage.
My favorite Batsuit costume is the Batman Beyond suit because it's from the future.
My favorite Batsuit of all time has to be the one that Jason Todd wore in Battle for the Cowl. Everything from the glowing eyes to the metal mouth guard to the gun use just shows that Jason does not have Bruce's humanity.
My favorite Batsuit is the one he uses to fight Superman with.
It's the Batman Beyond costume. I love that one.
My favorite Batsuit has to be the Batsuit of Batman Zur.
My favorite Batman costume is the Batman Beyond one. It's probably because it's like the most different one compared to like the others.
Batman Beyond, classic Batman with a yellow shield, new 52 Apocalypse suit, new 52 Batman.